Good morning and welcome to Gunner Shot. Today we're going to discuss the India-UAE Strategic Defence Pact. And to discuss all this and have a conversation about it, I have with me Mr. Sree Iyer. Welcome, sir. Thanks a lot for joining in
Thank you
early
so much.
morning.
Thank you so much. My
Right.
pleasure.
Oh, great. So we had a great discussion yesterday evening on the Ghana site on the various things, world order reset, and this and that. So today I thought we'll focus on the India UAE deal. What are the contours of the deal and all that? But before I get into a few details, because I'll give a short presentation of what the deal entails and all that. Your first views on this deal, your views, because yesterday we gave all you views, your views on it.
Thank you so much, sir. And viewers, always a pleasure to be on Gunner Shot. And I'm actually a guest, and I'm being guest hosted by General Shankar, and we're going to have a conversation here. See, things are moving very, very fast, viewers. Why is it that MBS, who used to think of MBZ as his mentor, suddenly the two are not seeing eye to eye in many things? What's going on? So there are many theories. Okay, one of the theories, I've been putting it out on monologue, so I'm just going to put you that part alone. See, for Saudi Arabia to break even on all the subsidies that they give to their population as well as to their princes and princesses, they need the crude price to be at $94 per barrel. Today's market rate, $60 per barrel. So they are under tremendous pressure to try and find a new way of finding revenues. Otherwise, what happens is these princes and princesses will start becoming unrestful, and you know what happens after that. Remember that one of the Saud dynastic kings was assassinated by one of the family members. This happened in the 70s, if I remember correctly. So there is a lot of pressure in Saudi Arabia, and this is the crux of the problem, I think, because once Saudi Arabia realized that they need people cheap, bodies that can die for their cause cheap. And General Rahil Sharif has been managing the troops to try and contain the Yemeni problem, which is supposed to be now supported by UAE. So suddenly what you're seeing, viewers, is KSA and UAE are landing on opposite sides of this conflict. And KSA has gone and signed a deal with Pakistan. And so UAE had to do something. That's my premise, sir. I know you have done much more research on this. I leave it to you. Please share with us the slide deck. I'm sure there'll be some follow-up questions on that. Over to you, sir.
Okay. So let's look at fundamentals, and then we'll discuss this. You look at it yesterday. What is significant of this deal is, our Prime Minister went. This is his tweet, which I put out, and his photographs, from his handle. He went personally to meet MBZ from the airport. They traveled in the car. They went in an hour. The whole thing was done, and he is gone. So there is a deep thing, and such a thing couldn't have happened without preparation. Remember, the Chief of Army Staff, our Chief of Army Staff, had recently gone to UAE. So a lot of preparation on this has been done. Okay, and UAE and India have tremendous, equity with each other, and we'll go over that. Now let's go over the contours of the deal as it is put out. Right? What are the LOIs? What are the MOUs? And what are the agreements? And what are the announcements? Because unless we know that we have a thing, we'll not be able to understand the whole story, right? Like what Sree Iyer said, the KSA Pakistan pact is only a mutual defense pact. This goes beyond that. That's the first thing I must highlight, right? Now, what is this? There's a letter of intent on investment cooperation between the government of Gujarat and the Republic of UAE, right, for development of Dholera Special Investment Region. Then there is a thing between space. There's a space cooperation in space and Space Agency of United Arab Emirates, right? So space industry, which is the sunrise industry today, that cooperation is going to come in, which is, first of its kind. that India is going to anchor UAE space space, right? That's something very important. Then, of course, the strategic defense partnership. Look, the outlines of the strategic defense partnership has not come out in absolute black and white, but definitely it involves training, sale of equipment, joint development, research, everything, funding. A lot of things are there, and that will have impact all around. Okay. Then you are talking of a sale and purchase agreement of LNG between HPCL and Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. And this is going to be the mother of all deals. It's up to be, the biggest. We're going to get 50% of our LNG requirement from UAE, right? And then you have a MOU on food safety and technical requirements between, the agriculture department. And this is very important again. And this is some place where we have already made a huge headway. I must say, we've not made headway only with UAE, we've made headway with Saudi Arabia also. Then, supercomputing cluster in India. So, this whole story is a very wide thing. So, my way of looking at it, this is not just a normal strategic deal. It it's a comprehensive strategic deal which we have not had. Right, then their aim is to double bilateral trade by 200 billion by 2032. How far is 2032? 6 years. Today, what is the trade level? We'll just see that it's about 100 billion, a little less than 100 billion, in fact. So if you're going to double that in 6 years, you're looking at a growth rate of about 10 to 15% every year, which is huge. Civil nuclear cooperation. It might involve small new modular reactors, big reactors, everything. So UAE itself is diversifying. Okay. And then, of course, offshore companies, operations, and DP World, Gift City in Gujarat. So many things are on the anvil, right? I just thought I'll put all this. See the top trading partners of India and see where UAE fits in. UAE today is our third largest trading partner. USA at the top, China, USA almost the same thing, right? But the interesting thing with the UAE is, though we have about $80 billion trade, it is not a one-way trade, it is a two-way trade. That's the interesting part with UAE. UAE is, we import about 40 billion and give back 40 billion, approximate, give or take a little. But with Saudi Arabia, it's a one-way trade. We take oil from them, basically. And then, of course, crude oil and energy and all that, right? So with this kind of a thing, it's a huge thing. Now, having looked at this, Sree Iyer ji, your views on this macro deal and how it is, just don't look at anything else. Your views on this, how does it impact everything else?
Thank you
How
so
your
much, sir.
views?
And before I start talking, viewers, please, wherever you're watching it, Ganashot or at PGurus, please like this video. Please help this thing go viral. This, in my opinion, is a seismic shift in the way the relations are evolving between Middle Eastern countries and India. See, this is not to say that India is going to ignore Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Far from it. That is the thing. There's a delicate balance that India is walking, and they're doing a fine job of it, even with Qatar. So with UAE, let me tell you a couple of things. I mentioned it yesterday in the other talk, but I'm going to reiterate that today UAE is the go-to place for the rich and famous. Not only that, it's also the go-to place for people who have been, very successful as individuals, as entrepreneurs. So UAE is looking far beyond just being an oil producer and things of that nature, or being the Las Vegas of the Orient and all that stuff. They have gone to much bigger vision that they have, and they're playing to that. It's not that UAE does not have taxation. Corporate tax is there. It's not very high, but personal income tax is not there. So there are some, big incentives. Plus, UAE is within touching distance of India. And remember, viewers, UAE became what it became because of our taxation strategy post-independence regarding gold. gold would launch from UAE and would come into India. That's not going to the details of that, but this is the main reason why UAE becomes such a pivotal place. And now what we are seeing is UAE is really stepping up for the next 15, 20. I like the vision that they have. So one, I have to say this thing. I don't think I've mentioned this in any of my other Hangouts here. So this is something exclusive that I'm sharing today. I'm taking you back to 2019, August 5th, 2019. The Home Minister Amit Shah makes the announcement in the floor of the Parliament that Article 370 has been abrogated. So, Ministry of External Affairs, the joint secretary level, joint secretary, and all the people below that, who are the ones interfacing with various countries, they are bracing for impact. What are these 57 Islamic nations going to do? Right? What are they going to say? How is the blowback going to be? Everybody is expecting serious blowback. Everybody is expecting serious blowback. So, first call, or among the first calls from UAE, I think it was the ambassador of UAE, and the thing that really gladdened the officials' hearts was he said, "We consider this as an internal matter of India." See, after that, see what happened? Yeah, Article 370 didn't. Once UAE made that stand, right? You didn't have any resistance from others. So this is what, again, when General Shankar says that you need to win some things politically rather than on the battlefield, this is one such thing. Amazing. And this is a personal friend of mine. I'm not going to quote his name, but this happened. I mean, he told me himself. So this is what UAE is, and a lot of other things are happening. Viewers, you will see these things unfold in the months and years to come. It's all very good for people who are professional, who are who can do business, and also where India is always it goes to a country, it enriches that country also culture wise. Remember, the first temple came up in UAE, in the Middle East. So a lot of things are happening, good things, I should say. Let's see how far this goes. I'm very, very pleased. Especially, I did not know the details that you shared just now, General Shankar. I mean, this is amazing. Mind-blowing is all I can say. Over to you, sir. We can continue with the presentation.
Yeah, like what Sree Iyer ji said about, this 2019 and, August 5th, 370 and all. I'll go back a decade before that. And I'll explain to you why UAE has a special place in this area. We were doing the National Defence College course, and we went to UAE officially, a delegation. So there's a Nigerian officer who was doing the course with us, right? And that course is such that not everyone goes everywhere. We go in 6-7 delegations to different parts of the world. So he said, I want to come to Nigeria. I want to come to UAE with you guys. He said, why? He said, no, I want to come. I like to come. And he was a good friend of mine. So when we went, we just stayed 3 days there, part of the delegation. When we went there, this chap was busy doing something else with another guy, So I asked him, I said, what are you doing? He said, yeah, Shankar, I've actually come here to buy a car. I said, buy a car? I said, why are you buying a car in here? You are from Nigeria. And you are going to, we have another 4 months of the course going. He says, this is the thing which I must tell you. This is a golden opportunity for me. I've made the deal for the car with an agency in Dubai. And he is going to deliver this car to me in Nigeria at my house. Okay? At this cost. And the same car, if I buy in Nigeria, it will be double. And mind you, this is something. I didn't realize the depth of this whole story. And I said, that's damn good. Will you give me a ride in that car? He says, yeah, sure. So we went for a drive in that car. It's a SUV. And it was not a first-hand car. It's a second-hand car. I didn't know there was an international second-hand car market thriving from Abu Dhabi, which I mean, not Abu Dhabi, from Dubai, which caters for complete Arabian Peninsula and North Africa. I, countries, people from various countries come and buy. And these are not first hand cars, these are second hand cars. In many cases, he told me that the car can be bought in Chad and sold in Nigeria through UAE. So that's the reach. Why I'm saying this is it might be funny to think of this like we're talking of a car dealership. If this is the kind of a car dealership which is there, you then can imagine the business linkages which UAE has developed. And such a and not I'm not talking now. I'm going back to 2008-9. What would it be now? That's what is important. And you look at the breadth and depth of this entire story, right? And that is astounding. The second thing is, if you look at all the slides which I showed, the depth of or the breadth of this deal. You're looking at fertilizers, you're looking at nuclear, you're looking at space, you're looking at X, Y, Z, right? You are then looking at something big, and this is two-way trade, 50-50. Okay, and a lot of countries depend. UAE is also repackaging in place. A lot of your produce goes there and gets repackaged and goes out. And tomorrow, when things equalize, the IMEC will have to go through this. So the first part of the IMEC is going through already. So I think this is the thing. The next thing is, remember, UAE and Israel, they've already signed the Abraham Accords. They're on one page. So politically and militarily, you're on the same page in this area. How significant would that be in this deal? I want your views on this, Sree Iyer.
I not only IMEC, but also I2U2. In that also, the like-minded forces are coming together. See, one of the things that amazes me about UAE is their pragmatism. See, they don't have the kind of oil riches that the other countries have. It's not in the same league. They do have some, but it's not on the same league as, say, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia or Iran or even Kuwait or Qatar. Qatar is like sitting on natural gas. And so there are lots of these small things that are going on. At the same time, UAE realized, I think 50 years ago or something like that they need to be much more of a corporate, of a places, a incubation country where people can come in and do it. For example, sir, up until a few years ago, you could, an Indian citizen could start a company in Dubai and pay zero corporate tax, zero personal tax. All you are required to do is in 6 months, you'll be there for a period of 2 or 3 working days. So people manage to have it. They'll just go every 6 months, rain or shine, they'll go there. They'll be like, there's like this incubator space in Dubai where you'll have your own desk. That desk is rented by you for your company for 3 days. After 3 days, that desk will be given to some other company who will come and start using the thing and continue on.
Yeah.
So this kind of flexibility is available in Dubai. If you are doing import-export business, 100%, I can tell you, the companies that are doing import-export, they have this kind of a facility because it helps them move things to places where it might be much harder. Like our friend from Nigeria, used car. I am just blown away.
Yeah.
So this is very good, and also the UAE is recognizing that India is business friendly. So that's a very important statement. Not said that in words. This is a very important statement, in my opinion. I want to stop here, sir. Maybe you have follow-up slides to continue. We'll go through that.
Yeah. Now we'll have a look at the politics of this region and the conflicts of this region, and because whatever deal we do, willy-nilly, whether we like it or not, whether we say that we are not part of this imbroglio or not, by having this deal here, our proximity to Israel, we have stepped into the problems of this region. I mean, it's going to come. It's like 1 + 1 free type, So I'd like to just highlight the issues in this region, and then we'll take your call, right?
Sure.
No, these are the places where there are today strife in this region. I'll just go over it and then we'll take a thing. Okay. This, of course, is UAE. Now, UAE has a problem with Saudi Arabia, has a major falling out with Saudi Arabia. And that major falling out with Saudi Arabia is because of the fact that Saudi Arabia wants to also diversify. In diversifying, it wants, you know, UAE, it threatens UAE because it will take away UAE sheen, right? And Saudi Arabia, it wants to control the entire Middle East. This is one part of the story. The second thing connected with this, where has this spilled over? The first spillover I'll say is Yemen. Yemen, Saudi Arabia, these three green, are the critical. In Yemen, in the Yemen war, I'll not go into the Yemen war. In the Yemen war, Saudi Arabia and UAE at one point of time were on the same page. Today they are on the opposite pages. For different, it's just that their thing. And also in Somaliland. And this is important because north of the Bab al Mandab and south of Bab al Mandab is Somalia and Yemen. Whoever controls this area controls the Red Sea routes.
Red Sea, correct.
Right? So now they are on the opposite sides. Next, this place. This is Sudan. Sudan is also split very clearly. Right? Eastern Sudan is, yeah. Here, the faction which is closer to the Red Sea is being supported by Saudi Arabia. The faction which is farther away, I'll not go into the factions, that's a different day, is being supported by UAE. Why? Saudi Arabia wants to control that faction which is, to the east, because Port Sudan, is on the Red Sea and it is contiguous to Saudi Arabia. And if that is there, it controls the Red Sea channels. UAE wants to control the other part, where there's gold. So a lot of gold comes from Sudan for UAE. So they are in problems. Then, so this is the place where they are directly opposite each other. Now, very funnily, Libya, they are on the same page. They are with the same, faction, LNA, with which Pakistan made the deal. And lo and behold, the opposing faction is Turkey.
Is Saudi Arabia.
Right? No, Saudi and UAE are on the same page. The opposite faction is Turkey, which is the UN, backed one.
Oh, that's true. That's right. I stand corrected. You're right.
So it's a very strange thing.
Enemies.
When you go into the details of this, something funny comes out. Then, of course, you have Syria, where fighting is ongoing. And in Syria, a lot of actors are involved. Who are the actors involved? Turkey, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Israel. And of course, the local forces, Kurdish forces, Druze forces, the Al-Jolanis, force, all this. And there is fighting happening. And everyone wants control. And here also there's a lot of clash of personalities. Then we have Gaza itself. We know, right, who's on which side of the fence. Okay? And there is going to be issues. Will Pakistan go and, disarm Hamas? Not, we don't know how that will play out. Then, remember, the mother of all problems, Iran. Just think for a moment. If Iran had existed with, its militias, Hezbollah, Hamas, Yemen and North Korea, Houthis and North Iraq, or Iraq, Shia militias of Iraq, those four arms of it. At that time, 3 months, 4 months back, all these problems were simmering underneath, but no one fought. Because everyone was fighting with Iran. Iran has gone, powerless. All this has started. And Iran itself is toxic. We don't know which way it is going to go. So you see the instability of whatever is happening in Iran already has touched this. Okay. So you see that it's actually, if I put it, colloquially, it's a bugger's model. You don't know who's with whom, and everyone is against each other. So, in this kind of a scenario, taking that UAE and you know Saudi Arabia are at loggerheads with each other, how do you see this going forward, and how do you see our relations with Saudi Arabia going forward?
Delicate balancing act here, General Shankar, between Saudi Arabia and UAE. But one thing that Saudi Arabia will realize very, very quickly is that India has options for its energy requirements. For example, they have signed a deal with Tanzania. They are signing a deal with Guyana, or it may have already been signed with Guyana. They are also having places like Sakhalin Island. From there they are going to start getting oil, and they also own, I believe, in Venezuela one well or a series of wells in that which the output is directly two wells. They're supposed to come directly to India. So India has been investing very, very shrewdly in this, and I think Saudi Arabia is the one that needs to kind of sweat a little bit, because remember who threw the first stone? Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is the one who went and ganged up with a country that is known for, terrorism. Why did you do that? I mean, that is something that KSA needs to do a bit of a deep thinking there, sir. I mean, this has all happened because of that. The one thing starts, and then it starts, having a domino effect. And Kingdom of Saudi Arabia needs to really figure out what they want to do here. And as always, India will maintain that stability and balance between having two friends. Perhaps one friend is a little bit dearer. Let me put it that way. Dearer.
Right.
He'll take calls from both sides. He'll take MBS and MBZ. He'll take the call. It's what else gets added.
Okay. I'll take you back. 22nd April last year, the day Palgam happened.
Yes.
So that was the day when Mr. Modi was in Saudi Arabia. And when his plane went, it was escorted by the Saudi Air Force into Riyadh. And on that day, they said, 1 year back, they said, look, we're going to have $100 billion investment into India. 10 billion was announced on that day. And it has not gone off-road, right? But we have a great equation with Saudi Arabia, and I think Saudi Arabia is looking to us. Now, it is in this context which I want to highlight where I'm getting at. Right? Two issues. One, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan. Right? What's the future of that triangle? Right? Especially now that I've said a few issues about the Middle East problem. And secondly, with that triangle, how do you see our issue going? Is that triangle incongruent to India, UAE, and Israel? Is there a clash? And then where do you see this whole business of IMEC going? And because that will have a bearing on how you deal with Pakistan tomorrow. So we'll first talk of, say, the Turkey, Saudi and Pakistan triangle. Your views on that?
Sir, Saudi Arabia, left to itself, my personal opinion, sir, I have nothing to back this, left to itself would rather be like UAE. But the problem is, when the Saudi Empire was established, there was a clear-cut agreement between a religional group, I should say, the Salafi and the Wahhabi sect, and the then king said that, okay, you don't come into my territory, I won't come into your territory. And there is a relationship where these guys give them oxygen to breathe. So you see, this is the fount of what happened with radical Islam, Wahhabi and Salafi sect that come out of Saudi Arabia. And that's when, you notice that from that point onwards, all the way up to Indonesia, there was a plan to construct a mosque every 10 kilometers. I believe it's happening. It's already happened in places like India. Maybe in some countries it's not happened at that rate. So this group still wants to have that, I am important too. And that's the reason why I think Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is tilting towards Turkey. Because it is told, it is believed, I should say, not told, that UAE and KSA washed their hands off of this radical money. MB and CAIR, they are all banned in these two countries. And sir, the CAIR is in big trouble in the United States now. There's an investigation going on. topic for a different day, viewers. Why I'm saying all this is this radical Islam is getting snuffed out. But at the same time, these people need an escape hatch, and that happens to be Turkey. Turkey is interested in Pakistan and also in Bangladesh because they feel that the numbers are there for them here to assert their Khilafat idea. Same thing,
Yeah.
200 years ago, right? Same mindset. Erdogan is, I mean,
Yeah.
as corrupt as
So, yeah,
any
yeah,
other
there
man.
is. You see, yeah, I go with you 100%. You know, the funny thing which I'd like to put across to everyone, Libya. In Libya, Saudi Arabia and Turkey are on opposite sides completely. Okay, Syria, they are on opposite sides. Remember, whatever happens in Syria, okay, affects Turkey. There's a common border. And if those forces which are supported either by UAE or Saudi Arabia get some prominence in this whole story, Turkey is affected, right? So there's a huge incongruence in this triangle, KSA, Turkey, Pakistan. And it is Saudis who have to fund both these poor guys. Turkey
Yeah,
economy is not great, and Pakistan's economy is also not great. So to that extent, why I've said this is this equation between India, Pakistan, Israel, also Greece and Crete, which is also uh, neutralizes a lot of things and opens a lot of issues. So when you talk of this Islamic NATO and all that, there are huge balances which come in, and this India UAE deal gets that balance. So that's a major issue people have to understand, right? Then the next part is here, right? We need to ensure India needs to ensure that Saudis and the UAE comes on one page. We have a great equation with both. I would put it this way that look, it's not a matter of balance. It's not a matter of seeking delicate balance between the two. I think it's time for us to get a patch up between the two. A patch
yeah,
up between Saudi Arabia and UAE throws the triangle off that pact,
correct.
right? You have to puncture that. And there are enough scopes, there are enough holes to puncture that, right? And if we are able to puncture that, you throw China also out of the equation, incidentally.
Yeah,
Because, right, China has got a base in Djibouti, and for all everyone must know, China pays ransom to Somalian pirates every second, third month to free their ships. So you want to throw these chaps out? You need both these people on your side. And even for IMEC, you need both these on your side. So I think
true,
this
true.
is important, and we need to be very clear about this whole story. How we're going to. We have stakes in Yemen and Somaliland. In fact, today I saw a tweet where the acting president or whoever of Somaliland has welcomed the deal between India and UAE.
UAE.
And, and Somaliland is right. It's on the south of Bab al Mandab. So I think there are a whole lot of issues which are there, and this is of prime importance to understand. One of these days, maybe tomorrow, day after, I'll go into each conflict to disaggregate them so that all our viewers understand what is happening, right, in each place and where the whole thing is going to lead. Right. The next point I want to say is, look, we are looking at India. I would like to focus on India now. We're going to get about this trade is going to increase by $100 billion. There's no doubt about it. India UAE. Similarly, that trade with Saudi also is going to increase by a matter of 100 billion. That's a committed trade. Okay. And the fact is about 600, $700 billion are committed by the Magnificent Six from USA into India. So where does that lead? This whole thing put India and what will be the effect of India geopolitically. And for us as a system, as a country, our strategic autonomy, everything. And considering what we spoke yesterday, Board of Peace, AO, all that. Look, why I'm viewers, please understand. Yesterday we spoke, all generals spoke about all this. Mr. Sree Iyer didn't get a chance to speak, so I'm forcing him to speak today. Your view and how India has to handle this. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So always there is a concern at the back of your mind. Well, we are basically beginning to become very good friends with countries which have also been part of the reason why we are facing so much problems within India. And see, this is the balance. You ask yourself this question. In UAE, only 1 out of 7 people living there is a UAE citizen. But do you see any acts of terrorism there? Do you see any incident that's out of the order? Why? So there is something there. Of course, you can say it's a small area and it's easier to manage. Yes, I agree. But they know how to contain this part. And if India does what India has to do to secure its borders internally, I don't think anybody is going to have a problem with that. After all, they're investing in India. And the investment can grow well only if the conditions are conducive, that it can flourish. And India has the manpower, India has a technical nous and the willingness to learn new things and to do some of the things. See, remember viewers, the oil is a diminishing asset, and now with more and more oil being found in different places, these two countries have to scramble. I think they are doing the right thing. They are meeting and mating with the best partner available. India never goes after any country's assets. For example, if China gives a loan to any country, that loan is tied up with projects where the Chinese people will come and do the project. Local people don't get anything except for the final product. And then the fun begins, because then you have to go and figure out how to make money out of this so you can pay the money back to China by way of loans. Hambantota went out of Sri Lanka's hands for the same reason. These are all happening right in our neighborhood. We need to understand that. So I think that's a good thing.
This I think is a very important point you made. No, this is a very important point you made. When the Chinese come, the profit is theirs, everything is theirs. The locals are left impoverished. Whereas look at Dubai, look at UAE. We built it. Who went? It was our engineers, our labor, and everything. Who built all complete Dubai, whichever way, good, bad, or ugly, with their control, right? And we didn't, and it's prospered. So what does it? India has generated trust through Dubai and UAE, and I go back to my time when I was as an aspiring cadet for marine engineering and NDA. I remember staying with a guy who was going to Dubai and coming back, and that was in Bombay for 3 days when I went for an interview. The thing started then. We are talking of when 70s, late 70s, mid 70s.
Yeah, 70s. Yeah.
So, we built Dubai from then to now. From a fishing village, today it is a megapolis. So I think our equity there is huge, and we can never let that go. And today, when India economy is growing the way it is, this kind of infusion makes you very strong. On that, we should have no doubt left. You're looking at, and this internal strength, which is being built by the day, will enable us to exercise strategic autonomy. Whether you want to get fully committed to this Board of Peace or not, whether you want to handle whichever way you want to handle China or not. And let me tell you, there are articles which are coming out in hardcore Mandarin, platforms in China, that how it is good to be friends with India, why India and China are to get together. So as much as what's happening with USA, same thing China is also doing. And as this game goes on, India's strength is rising, right? And this is something which I wanted to put across to everyone. And the UAE India UAE deal in this context, when you see, is very, 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 very important. Right. I'd like you to talk a bit about Pakistan. Where does this leave Pakistan? Where does this leave India-Pakistan equation in this whole story?
General Shankar, one of the problems with the construct of Pakistan, West and East together in 1947, was the fact that its administrative arm completely got pushed out. And what was left was just the defense. And if you look at the United India's defense, a disproportionate number had to go to Pakistan because that's where they were from originally. This is where the whole imbalance started, that they never had a strong administrative arm once the things started falling in place. I mean, Jinnah couldn't decide whether he wanted to be a titular head or whether he wanted to run the country. He was a governor general, but he wanted to run Pakistan also. So everywhere it's just confusion, not really knowing what to do. They got this land, but then what? They had driven people out. Those people who were managing all this, Pashtuns, Sindhis, Punjabis, Baloch, everything was being done. And see, this is where Pakistan still is struggling, because it doesn't have that administrative frame that India has. The IIS, Indian Administrative Services, includes all the different administrative IPS, IES, IFS, whatever, right? This is the one that gets things done. You may not like the way they do things, but that's a different matter. All it is, but a lot of things are happening because these people are in line and they are getting things done. Look at Pakistan. They don't have that. And the same thing in Bangladesh also. Bangladesh is a little bit better, because what I'm told is one of the reasons why the 93,000 prisoners of war had to be sent back to Pakistan was that they were holding ransom many of the East Pakistan administrative bureaucrats who were working in Pakistan, West Pakistan. See, that hole I told you, right? That administrative hole was being filled by people from East Pakistan. And they said, we will kill all of these people if you don't return the 93,000 soldiers. It's a hard call for India. What do you want to do? I mean, India was feeding them. They had to bring them from Bangladesh to inside India. 93,000 people set up in various prisoner of war camps. 1 year, 1.5 years. I don't remember the exact time frame. So Pakistan still, today also, it doesn't realize that it's not a state. It is not a normal state. It's an army that has a country rather than the other way around. And this is not going to change anytime soon, sir. The best way this can happen is it gets balkanized, smaller components, and these smaller components understand the problem, and they start getting help by India, where their people can come and get trained at Mussoorie, Dehradun, wherever the administrative staff colleges. See, this model is being already tried out in India successfully, I might say, with Afghanistan. The cricket team, they train in India. In fact, their coach is an Indian guy, if I remember correctly. So this is possible. I mean, this needs to grow faster and better, and that's what will give, because Pakistan needs to understand good relations with its neighbor, which can actually take care of you at the times of need, is a much better proposition than to hate and do all the things that they are doing. Their generals, I hope this guy is the last Kheti Marshal for them. This has gone too far. I mean, my opinion, sir. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Now that we've spoken of Pakistan, I want to, last point I'll discuss, then we'll take questions. I want to highlight something else. Look at this map carefully. See, we have a tremendous relationship with Oman. Okay, there's a port here where I shown my pointer. It's called Dukum. Dukum is a port which is being developed by India and almost manned by India, and we have a lot of basing facilities which are there. It's not in open, but I know for sure we have more than basing facilities for normal. Now look at this map. See this. This is UAE. So in this Gulf of Hormuz or Strait of Hormuz, once the southern end you're going to be completely comfortable with. Okay, and if even Yemen you're able to help, this is where India has to work. India has to work for a patch up between Saudi Arabia and UAE and get Yemen on board, right? And then you're going to get this peninsula completely there, and then you control the Arabian Sea,
yeah,
North Arabian Sea, And when you control the North Arabian Sea, and you look at it a little prospectively, right? Why this becomes important, right? Is one, whichever way Iran goes, Iran has no choice but to be friendly with India. It has no choice. We've seen it even now. We've seen it earlier also. So you're going to have energy security. At the end of the day, 30 to 40% of your energy comes from here. Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, everything. So I think this is a very huge move geostrategically also for India. And the fact is that this defense strategic partnership places you and some part of your team or forces in the Arabian Peninsula. It might be a training team only, but the training
Yeah,
teams have a lot of value behind, right? And that training team, if you could put a training team between UAE and Oman, you expanded your thing. And I might like to also add, this is the first kind of a pact, a military pact that we are having with a non-Western country. We've
yep,
had military pacts with Russia. We've had military pacts with USA. You had military pacts with, UK in the good old days. But this is the first time you're getting into something with UAE. So I think there's a
correct.
huge equity in this whole story. I'm very glad I spoke to, we're speaking together because we've given you various facets of this whole story. There are some strategic issues, there are some, people to people contact, there is a whole lot of things. So this is just not a defense trade deal or something like that. It is much deeper and it aids many things. And UAE being the conduit it is, certain things which you can't get through normal channels will come through UAE. So it aids. There's a force multiplier effect of the UAE. So with this, you have anything else to say, or should I take questions? Yeah, your final
Just
thoughts on this.
one last, yeah, one final thought, and then you can take questions. Sir, I may have to jump out in about 5 minutes or so
No
because I have to
problems.
host another program on my other channel. So
Yeah,
sorry
you
about
carry
that.
on. I'll take on the questions. No problems.
Yeah, so questions part I'll skip. So for in conclusion, there are two people who are actually going to be under a lot of pressure: Qatar and United States. United States is going to see, oh my God, these guys just come. The guy lands on the airplane for 1.5 hours. There's a meeting, on the car going here, there, and then the deal is signed and he's off. And Sergey Gore, the new ambassador, is looking, oh, what the hell just happened here? So if the conditions are right, India does move quickly. That's a message. And Qatar is now sort of in a place where it seems to be also burning its bridges with United States. I don't know. If I were a Qatari, I would be a little bit concerned. Just my 2 cents, sir. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving this opportunity to be co-hosting this or co-guesting this, but for the wonderful, wonderful session, sir.
Thanks a lot. I'll let you go because you need to prepare for your next thing. All yours, and
Thank you
I'll
so
take a
much.
few.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Right. At the outset, Crimson Red, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Spotter also to join in as a YouTube member. And Ramesh Haridas, welcome to the show. If I'd like to put it across to all of you. Uh, if you like this video, do press that like button and also subscribe to both Gunner Shot and PGurus. And PGurus has a couple of channels. You must subscribe to both because then you get a mix of what you want to do. Okay, so I'll take a few questions right at this time. Yeah, Ramachandran says win-win deal for both nations. Sharjah is an effective bridge between Irani and Omani. Yeah, I agree with you completely. See, this is such a positive thing which has happened. Is not funny. Today, I've just given an outline of all the conflicts. When you understand these conflicts in detail and the forces aligned against, then you'll see where India has placed itself in this whole story. I'll talk of this tomorrow or day after because something equally interesting is happening in China. Okay, China is having. We'll talk of that tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot. Love you, IRG and Shankarji. You have helped me grow my critical thinking skills. Going to start my first job at a prestigious Mayo clinic in the ICU. I'll do everything to uplift India and US. All the best to you. Thanks a lot and all the best to you. Have a great career. Go ahead. Right? What if, okay, succeeding future USA administration ditch the present President Trump's policy and go back to the regular UN channel? I don't think this will happen, Vishwanath. In my own view, yesterday itself, I wanted to highlight this. I didn't highlight it. It didn't come about. But my thing is, whatever Trump is doing is going to be irreversible. Because if he is successful in what he's doing, America would have gained a different shape, and China would have gained a different shape. And I don't think it's in the American nature to go back. They've never gone back. They're looking at it forward. And remember, uh, a lot of things Americans were feeling frustrated that their potential was being boxed in by China. And what Trump has done willy nilly has unboxed that. He's unleashed that potential. So there's no reversal back to UN. That I'm very clear. Yeah, how is it different? I've explained to you in terms of depth and the of the relationship. You're looking at just not military. You're looking at everything. You're looking at nuclear thing. You're looking at space. You're looking at normal trading. You're looking at energy, and you're looking at defense. Defense is just one pillar of this deal. Whereas between Pakistan and Saudi, it's only one. There another issue which I must tell you. What is the difference? Please remember, this is important. UAE is owed nearly $3 billion by Pakistan. Okay, $3 billion, and hence Pakistan is indebted to UAE. UAE has got Pakistan by its tail. So you are a friend with UAE, Pakistan gets controlled. That is also the strategic importance, right? And already UAE has got a stake in the Fauji Foundation of Pakistan, 1 billion stake. So there is the thing, yeah. Uh, will the fall of Khomeini regime bring peace in Kashmir? What's your take? I think eventually something will happen. It depends on the shape of the regime. It's an interesting question. Uh, at this point of time, all the Kashmiris want that Khomeini regime to survive and carry on. If tomorrow something else happens, they'll change. The Kashmiris are very flexible in this. Please understand. They'll change. They'll switch sides very fast. One. And number two, like I said, it depends on the kind of a regime which emerges in Iran. And what I would suggest is today we're going to talk of Iran in the evening. We're going to talk, is it a revolt or a revolution? Now we are into the 24th day of that event. So we're going to reflect back on Iran. So join us at 8 o'clock in the evening. We'll talk of this with the panel, with Ambassador Trigunayat, General Gautam Murthy, and Aishwarya Airy, who's a young lady, a researcher who's researching Iran, Turkey, and that belt. So we'll do it today, tomorrow. Yeah, Aramco investing $10 billion in BPCL. Yeah, so you have equity both sides. That's the point, right? Uh, yeah, I have a friend in UAE named Rizvi, and he called me yesterday, and he's an Emirati, and said, "Brother, congrats. We spoke for 30 minutes. Even I spoke to his wife, who's a Moroccan, and happy. Great. That's great." Um, yeah, I think in defense, India will be able to pick up from any number of technologies and create what they need. China has a lot of smart people, but they are more repressed ideology. Yeah, I agree with you. Okay. Um, right. Let me see from the top. Let's see. With this UAE defense deal, does our circle range for ICBM increased? UN Security Council? These are, a little over the horizon. Or ICBMs. Why should we send our ICBMs to UAE to get range? You develop a better ICBM which can go, and we incidentally have. People think we don't have ICBMs. If you can send a spacecraft from here to the moon, you have the capability to develop a ICBM which can go all around the world. Please remember that. So we don't need. It's only, are you operationalizing an ICBM which can go wherever you want it to go in any part of the globe? Is the issue. Okay. Is UAE part of the Islamic NATO? No. Thanks a lot for this compliment. Mm, is Bharat paying France in francs or euro? We'll see. That normally is a dollar settlement. Okay, international settlements are dollars. Okay, Saudi crying, joining hands with Pak. UAE is the winner. Yeah. Um, in Persian Gulf region, militarily, how strong is UAE compared to KSA, Iran, Israel, Qatar, Yemen, etc.? See, UAE is a very modern force, and UAE doesn't believe in fighting. Okay, Saudi has a problem because it's got borders with whole lot, and it has got divisions within. So it has to, and Saudi has been fighting in Yemen for the past 15 years. Yeah, nothing has happened to them. Okay. They are fighting as a different connotation altogether with these Arabian armies. Israel, of course, is the strongest. Israel is the kingpin there. And Israel being having a pact already with UAE strengthens UAE. That's one of the reasons why people are worried. Yeah. Yeah, lot happening 20 days into the new year. I completely agree with you. Um, Yeah. Thank you, Iyer sir, for all the premium content you keep bringing. I don't get to talk much on your channel. Thanks a lot. Yeah, that's one of the good things in Ghana Shot. A lot of people get to talk, and I put it up, right? And I see, of course, those of you who are regular, I'll always give you a platform to talk. Mine is a small channel compared to those, so that's how it is. Yeah, the whole thing seems to be so sudden, like this. But things like this, with so many items, take a long time to reach an agreement. So why the sudden appearance of MBZ? Yeah, that's the interesting thing. This is something which has been in the works for quite some time. Like I said, 2 months back, or 1 month back, I don't remember. I remember Army Chief went there to UAE, had spent a couple of days, spoke, and then came back. Also, remember our educational institutions, and many are in UAE. Even schools have gone there and set up shop. So we already have a very deep relationship. And to flesh all this up is a thing. Next, there's an issue of trust. All these people, except Turkey, trust India. And they trust India more than they trust USA. Definitely more than Pakistan. Definitely more than China. So the trust factor is there, which that's why people are attracted to India. They can trust themselves. They can trust that we'll not let them down. And that's our track record. Our track record speaks. And that's how this whole story has built up. And I'm sure it'll get built up with Saudis also. That will follow. We'll see later in the year. I don't know how fast it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And the day that happens, this deal between Pakistan and Saudi will break. It will be a natural break. Saudi is doing it for different reasons with Pakistan. We have to understand that. And in a way, I'm okay with the fact that Pakistan and Saudi have a deal of some kind. because then Pakistan gets controlled through Saudi. If you have a good deal with Saudi, you control Pakistan. If USA has got a good deal with Pakistan and you are on a good wicket with Pakistan, USA, you control Pakistan. Pakistan need not be controlled directly. You can control Pakistan through your friends who are their friends. You can also control Pakistan through your new friends who are their enemies, and directly. So you have multiple channels to control Pakistan. What is the future of IMEC? This will happen. Please understand, they are not against IMEC. The only thing is, will this Board of Peace, Gaza part, something happen, the IMEC will go through. Remember, there's already a deal between Israel, Crete, and Greece. They've invited India into that. So the Mediterranean end is opening up. The peninsular end with India, Saudi Arabia, and UAE are okay. They'll be okay for the IMEC. I'm very sure of it. It's that link we have to get over that Haifa port, Jordan and Haifa, which will take a little time. So till then, let that infrastructure build. What's the hurry? I think by the end of the year, you will get some shape. That's what I predicted about 3 years back. Yeah. Realistically, any deal can be influenced by US if they want. If other country cannot stand alone, that leaves only China and Russia. US will be very happy with this deal. If US if should be happy with this deal, because India gets equity there. The moment India puts a defense fingerprint in the peninsula, it helps US stabilize that area. See, like I said, wait till day after tomorrow. I'll talk about the Middle East conflicts, because if you disaggregate each of these conflicts, you see what a big muddle it is. Virtually, by doing this, you have gone into that, whether you like it or not. Okay. And another thing which I've heard from people in that area is, look, we trust you, you're doing well, everything, but you have to do something for us. What is that something for us? They expect mediation. So our equity will go up and stakes will go up. If you are having a strategic partnership with UAE, you ever have strategic partnership with Oman, tomorrow you extend it to Qatar and you take it to Saudi Arabia, which you already have actually, right? And you put it in a different thing, then you start doing something for this area. And with that trust, things open up. And the moment you start doing that, there's no choice. You're a new player in that area. Yeah. Yeah, this is an important thing. Saudi 2030 vision is taking away all their business. That's one of the reasons why they're at rift with each other. Yeah, India will not open trade with Pakistan, but keep selling through Dubai to Pakistan. That's natural. What is it that you're exporting? $3 billion worth, or 30 billion or $40 billion worth annually to UAE. It's all going to Pakistan. You're screwing Pakistan. Okay, at tremendous cost. Pakistan is paying for its fundamentals, and that's happening through UAE. So there's a whole lot of control. Everything is happening. Yeah. Uh, should India recognize Somaliland? Not yet. Not yet. Let it come to the time, and when the time comes, you do it. But you can do many things below the radar. What does the mean need for such a sudden and emergency meetup? It is not sudden or emergency. The emergency was for UAE. The emergency was for UAE. For us, it was not. Yeah, this is again a correct comment. Let us not forget that within the last 5 decades, Dubai emerged as a famous international city and replaced Beirut, which fell to bad days following collapse of. Yeah, I agree with you completely. Beirut was the Paris of the East. Okay, today Dubai is it. Today it might not be Paris of the East, but I think it's something like New York of the East. Business. I meant only India can sell equipment and systems as it will. We yeah. At one angle, I'd like to consider Russia and oil prices. UAE has been Russia's bank to the world. If you're buying oil, you're transacting. Yep, correct. I go with you. I go with you. You get a lot of control. See, the thing is, it's a hub. It's a transacting hub. That's why I said no. 10 years, 15 years back, 17 years back now. That guy wanted to buy a car in Nigeria from Dubai and ship it. See the linkages. And now many more linkages would have come in. So we're talking about different kind of a thing. Those linkages start affecting, will start, helping you out. Okay, Shruti, namaskar. Thanks a lot. US will never form board of peace. We'll see that, Ashish. We've discussed it yesterday. Your view, I see that. Hmm. Yeah, Sharjah is a Gulf. We've touched this. Okay. Yeah. Is there anything else? Okay. Can we grant China access to the Indian Ocean through India? No way. No way. You do that, you're finished. Let me tell you this. You give. They've been searching for access through Yatung, and into Bangladesh and beyond. They're searching for it. Siliguri corridor. They're searching for an access through Ladakh. Actually, when this Belt and Road initiative was thought of, a lot of these Kashmiri politicians wanted a Belt and Road through Karakoram Pass or through Tibet, not Ladakh, through Kashmir, Srinagar, and down. That's the best route, not through Pakistan. If the Karakoram Pass is open throughout, and the Karakoram Pass, apart from Karakoram Pass, you can come from other places in Tibet and come through Ladakh, Kardungla, Changla, again open throughout, and come back, come down south. Now, though, that's the best route actually, right? But we didn't agree to it because territorial issues, and cultural issues, and you have adversity. No way. So I don't think Modi and MBZ meet for these deals. Why are they hiding? What are they hiding? Because before the invasion of Ukraine, Putin was here. Something big is cooking. No, I don't think so. You've seen we've explained the whole thing to you. India will do more dirham trade. Maybe that's an arrangement between us and UAE. We'll see how it goes. Why this hurried thing? I've told you the hurry is from UAE. They need it. Great session, sir. Pakistanis and Saudis have pact with UAE. Bharat pact. Is there any possibility of another Pak? No, it will not. Pakistan is now actually, if you read Pakistan, that's why I said did a thing on Pakistan also 3 days back. Internal economy is finished. It's going far apart from each other, and they have a handful with Afghanistan and Balochistan and KPK. They can't think of anything. If nuclear cooperation is strategic, will operation remain decisively in Indian hand? Yeah, it will be. They don't have the capability. We have to go do everything for them. How will these pacts impact shipping lanes further toward? Yeah, uh, that's the alternate route. You still have a whole lot of Africa which has to be serviced on those routes. Okay, so you still have the Madagascar Strait. You still have equities there. You still have Maldives. You have still have control over Lakshadweep for those routes. Those routes will not run away. They'll be kept open. Okay, you a whole lot of people there. Whatever goes to South America has to go through the Cape of Good Hope only. Okay, so that those shipping lanes are important. They'll remain important. Thanks for this wonderful discussion. Yeah, point that UAE and Saudi Arabia, India can be the bridge. If it happens, it'll be wonderful. We should. A lot of things will fall in place if you do that. We have an opportunity, a strategic opportunity. That's the point. Uh, Greetings, sir, and the team. Sorry I came late, hoping for a deeper diplomacy with. Thanks a lot, Jayant, for your contribution. Uh, yeah, excellent presentation. Hats off to you, General, sir. Look, what you get from me is this, sir. What I learned from the army is put across a few cogent slides, put everything across, and reference them. Unless we reference and understand the facts and analyze facts, we will not get this thing. That's why I tell all of you, join Gunner Shot, not for cheap popularity and thing. What I say is nice because it sounds good to all of us. No, we should analyze things and look at our own strengths we have and see how to maximize on them. That's what we need to keep doing. Okay. Yeah, there is a lot of talk of a united Nordics nuclear deterrent. How fast can Europe rearm to respond to the US, or it's too far away? They're just talking at this point of time, right? It's not easy, right? Okay, I think we've generally touched most of. Yeah, Cape Horn is South America. No, no, Cape of Good. This is uh, Cape of Good Hope, South Africa. Okay, I think we're done for the day. Join in the evening. We're going to go back into Iran because Iran is one big puzzle in this story. Okay, Iran. Iran is one huge instability in this entire thing, which we'll have to see which way it is going. We've seen that, okay, whatever has happened in Iran, is it a revolution or just a revolt, or where is it going? Because the fundamentals underlying the problem of Iran have not gone. And there are reports of some issues coming out, not where will it go? And we'll see the future where it happens and see how it is. Right? Hmm. Okay. With this, thank you. Have a great day. Enjoy yourself. Meet in the evening. Till then, Jai Hind.